everyone, and thank you so much for coming back and joining me. If you're new to my channel, Wished Upon a Vlog, my name is Julie and I live in Ireland. Now, I wanted to come on and talk about basically the movies of 2019 that I liked and didn't like. So I am going to start off with ones that I did like, that I thought were great movies and that I went to the cinema and seen and really enjoyed this year. So we're just going to go straight ahead. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is The Curse of La Llorona. And this was done by James Wan, and if you're not familiar with who James Wan is, just think Aquaman. He did Aquaman last year. He also done Insidious 2, The Conjuring 2, and I will be honest, I love the movies within the Conjuring universe. I love all those kind of movies, and I think James Wan is fantastic, and of course he's working on Aquaman 2, and I'm really excited for that. Now, I think, personally for me, I loved the movie. I thought the cast was fantastic. We had Linda Cardellini. She's in Daddy's Home and Daddy's Home 2, in case you can't sort of picture her. But she was fantastic. She played the mum in this and she was terrific. I thought the kids were fantastic in it. I thought the movie was fabulous. I loved it, and I thought the visuals were great. There was maybe one or two visuals that I spoke about in my movie review of this movie. If I have done a review, if you want to go into my movie review section on my YouTube channel. But I think for me, I would have rather went and seen this movie around sort of Halloweeny time, like October, even if it hadn't been brought out at any time in October. And I did sort of speak on that with my trailer reactions too, which was my personal issue. Not to be nitpicky, but I just kind of felt, I watched like The Conjuring and all them type of movies for Halloween, you know? So it just kind of felt a bit off for me that it was out in April. Now, I don't know if that's what massively affected it, but I don't think that that helped, in my opinion. Now, I didn't really see many people doing reviews on it, and I was quite sad about that because I thought it was really good. So I done a review and was like, yeah, I recommend that you go and see this movie because it was really good. Now, I understand it's the type of movie, not everybody's into that kind of movie, but I thought it was great. I thought the visuals were great. I thought the cast was great. I thought that they'd done the adaptation of it very well. They explained everything very well as well. If you're not, aware of the story of La Llorona, it wouldn't have mattered because they started explaining it like literally smack bang from the beginning of the movie. So I just want to say, if you haven't seen the movie and you didn't go and see it in the cinema, I would definitely recommend it. Now, the second one I want to talk about, Joker. I have to talk about it. Joaquin Phoenix literally just killed it. He literally just killed it. That movie was perfection. I give it a 10 out of 10, by the way, and I did do a movie review on this one as well. I still see him as the little kid from Parenthood with Keanu Reeves. I'm sorry, is it just me? But so it's kind of funny, like he's so cute, and then you're just sort of like watching him grow up, like from being a child actor and seeing him being, playing as Arthur Fleck as an origin story of Joker. I just find that absolutely amazing. I found it fantastic. So of course this was literally an origin story about Arthur Fleck basically, and yes, okay, this movie was for his life obviously quite sort of disturbing, but at the same time I actually felt they put a lot of humour into this movie, and that's what I really respected with Todd Phillips, was because yeah, there was violence, yeah, there was it showed you, things that were quite sad, but at the same time, I don't know about anybody else, but I laughed most of the time throughout this movie, and it made me realise how many snowflakes were in my cinema that were falling on top of my hair, because there was people that weren't even laughing at parts that I was like, this is hilarious. So yeah, me and my boyfriend were sitting laughing away and everybody else was just not laughing, but that's just my opinion. I thought this was such a refreshing movie, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I was so happy with this movie. I couldn't have been happier with that movie, and I thought Joaquin Phoenix did a fantastic job, and the rest of the cast did a fantastic job, as did Robert De Niro. I love Robert De Niro. I was so happy to see him in this movie, and the whole sort of story between Arthur Fleck and Robert De Niro I thought was fantastic in this movie too. I was over the moon with it, and I was trying to like recommend everybody to go and see that film. But yeah, I was like a promo person, like, yeah, if you've not seen it, you have to go and see it. You don't understand how freaking well legendary this movie is. And honestly, when I watched it, I had to like sit and think, well, like, who's better? If like, I'm not saying you have to pick, but if someone said to me, who did you prefer? Did you prefer Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight, or did you prefer Joaquin Phoenix? And I'd be like, I don't know, I need to rethink some things about this, you know, because he did so well. He did so well, and honestly, I absolutely love Heath Ledger. But to be honest, they're two completely different movies. That's the thing. So when you're like, you can't really compare, I don't think. But, you know, I don't know, just saying, it made me kind of think, gosh, they were both so damn good. Move on to number 3 is Spider-Man Far From Home. Now, I absolutely loved this movie, and of course I love Tom Holland playing as the character Spider-Man, and I absolutely loved the scenes in this film that was based in Prague, because I went to Prague about 2 or 3 years ago near Christmas, and there was a scene with Tom Holland on what's called the Charles Bridge in Prague, and I was literally walked across that bridge, and also I went on a boat, and it went right underneath that bridge, and it was absolutely stunning, and it really was really nice for me to see those things, because I was like, oh my gosh, I was there, oh my gosh, I was there. And I was in that town square as well, you know, the scene where Mysterio kind of like tricks him, and he is sort of like, you know, like there's like this whole scene, right? And that was in like the town square of Prague, and I recognised that and everything. Now, I love this movie. I did a movie review of it as well. If you want again to go to my click into my YouTube channel, and you will be able to go to movie reviews and you'll find it. My issue with the movie though, just I did have little problems. My problem really was Mysterio, you know. I just felt that he didn't play him very well. I just kind of thought he wasn't the most convincing villain in the movie, and it was a very predictable plot line from the very get-go, from the beginning of the film. And then when it was sort of obvious that he was letting everybody know, that I already obviously knew before this, but when it came out that, okay, I am Mysterio and all this here, and he stood up and was talking to everyone, I thought that acting was just, from Jake Gyllenhaal, was kind of a bit cringe, because it was just OTT, it was over the top. And I do like Jake Gyllenhaal, like, I'm not trying to like bash the guy or anything, but I'm just saying personally, Mysterio was weak for me in the movie, and I was quite sad, because I think he looked fantastic, he looked the part, and a lot of the visuals when he did his little trickery and everything, I thought was fantastic. The visuals in this movie I didn't have an issue with, really. I thought they were fantastic. There was really cool scenes with Mysterio, I will say that, and Spider-Man, but my issue was he just didn't do it for me overly, and that, again, it's nothing actor-wise, but I just don't really think he suited that part for this movie. But of course, Tom Holland killed it. The movie was hilarious. I laughed from start to finish, and it was just such a fun movie, you know, and I really enjoyed it overall. Next one is Shazam. Am I still here? Oh, okay, right. So that didn't work. But yeah, or should I say the real Captain Marvel. And what I loved was that they played, even for the friggin' well trailer for one of this, like, with the real Slim Shady please stand up, and I think that was kind of like a little nudge to, would the real Captain Marvel please stand up? And I love that they had the cojones to actually do that. Like, they did that. And I knew the trailers looked great, and they looked really, you know, cheesy and funny, and I'm all about the cheese, I'm all about the comedy, you know, give me some cheese. So, you know, I like some, you know, cheesy comedy on my burger, and guess what? Freaking love this movie. I also did a movie review of this, and I was so happy with it. Love the Street Fighter references in there as well throughout the movie, and of course, you know, there was it was based around Christmas. So it was like Christmas tree and trees and everything. And I actually rewatched this movie for the second time, I think about a week ago, yeah, before Christmas Day. Now, Zachary Levi did a fantastic job, but I actually thought that the young actor, who was also playing Shazam, of course, Asher Angel. I thought he was actually better than Zachary Levi. Now, feel free to disagree, of course. Disagree with anything I'm saying on this video. I thought that he was actually better. However, here was where my negative was. My negative was the villain, Dr. Savannah. And I think kind of, you know, that if there had been a better villain playing Dr. Savannah, or a better actor or whatever, like, and he's not a bad actor, but I'm just saying he didn't convince me as a villain. You know, I couldn't overly take him seriously when he was talking to Zachary Levi, you know. But there was some funny moments. The only thing I would say CGI that I had a problem with, I thought the CGI was pretty good. It was very good. There was a scene, I'm trying to remember the exact scene. I think it might have been in the office. I'm trying to remember. But there was a scene with the 7 deadly sins. And I just kind of felt like CGI wise that could have been done a bit better. But no, I thought the whole way that they laid the movie out, the visuals, everything, the cast was absolutely fantastic. And then there was even a Game of Thrones, you know, thrown in there, like, you know, it gets real Game of Thrones round here, you know. But yeah, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It was phenomenal. It really was. I thought little Jack Dillon was absolutely fantastic in this movie. And of course, he was actually in the movie It, and I thought that It was absolutely fantastic, and he was definitely like my favourite in that movie, It. So I thought he was fantastic in it. He was absolutely freaking well hilarious. Them two together, honestly, him and Shazam, honestly, and he's like, oh, he's Captain Sparkle Fingers, and he's just absolutely hilarious. So yeah, this film was fantastic, and I actually went to go and see it on the 8th of April, which was my birthday, and it was so cool to be able to go and see a movie on your birthday that you were looking forward to, and you come out and you go, that was freaking class. I loved it. The next one is John Wick 3. Oh my goodness. Wow. Literally blew me away. I had seen the first two, and I have the first two on DVD as well, and I've watched them quite a few times. And I loved the first one, story-wise especially, but I thought the second one was even better, especially action-wise. And the third one was just like, oh wow, you just literally just wow, blew this out of the water. It was the best one of the three by a million miles. Now that is only my opinion. Wow, this movie was perfection, and this one and Joker were my two favourites by a million miles. I am obsessed with Keanu Reeves. Point Break is phenomenal. If you have never seen the movie Point Break, that's one you want to put on your list for this summer. The action in this movie was, oh my good goodness, you had Keanu Reeves on a horse on a motorway with being chased by motorbikes, and you've swords and all sorts going on. You know, you'd literally everything going on within this movie. Now, I didn't notice any CGI, and if there was, it would have been extremely minimal, and that's what I loved about this movie. It concentrated on the lore. It concentrated literally on John Wick. And that's what I loved so much. And Keanu Reeves is freaking well amazing in this. And I honestly felt embarrassed a bit though in the cinema, because I was laughing my freaking ass off. I couldn't stop laughing, because although some of the scenes would have been seen as like really violent, I thought they were freaking well hilarious. Like, honestly, and there's the library scene and everything like that. It was so funny. Some people might have been like, ooh, but I was like, brilliant. And I actually clapped my hands at one. Oh my gosh, brilliant. And my boyfriend was looking at me like, shh, you can't be laughing like that. And I couldn't stop freaking well laughing. But yeah, even the scenes were like with the horse in the stable, and then they were just like whack, kicking the bad guys, and like whack again. And then they all go and jump in to the freaking car with the Alsatian dogs and everything. And oh my gosh, Halle Berry in this movie was fantastic. I actually seen her in an interview, and she was saying that she had broke like a couple of her ribs or something like that, and she was in hospital, and she was like finding it really difficult to speak even within that interview, you know, like maybe it was like hurting her ribs or whatever. But you know what, hats off to her. She did like a lot of the stunts herself, and a lot of the gun training and everything she done herself. And Keanu Reeves pretty much does like 99.9% of the stunts within this movie, and I think he's absolutely fantastic. And honestly, you see at the end with the glass floors and everything, that whole fight scene, it was hilarious. And they're all sort of like, oh, I'm a big fan of yours, Mr. John Wick, and everything. Absolutely hilarious. And like, if anybody has known me for a while, you'll know that I love martial arts a lot. Like, I have a ton of martial arts movies. I love Tony Jaa, I love Jackie Chan, oh my gosh, I love so many martial arts movies on back, honestly. So I just loved this freaking well movie, and seeing all the fight scenes and everything made me so happy, and I was freaking well loving it. So John Wick 3 was perfection, Joker was perfection. These were my two favourites. Next one that I want to talk about that I did go and see in the cinema is Frozen 2. Now, I do own the first one on DVD. I do like it, but I don't think it's as phenomenal or as groundbreaking as what people sort of mainly portray it to be. I did really like the song, you know, let it go, can't hold it back anymore. But then I kind of heard it in like all the shops. It was just 24/7 non-stop on TV and stuff, and I kind of got bored of it. It kind of takes away from it, you know. I hate when people do that. And as well, everywhere in the shops was just so much merchandise, but it was overkill. Do you know where I'm coming from? But I don't think it was spectacular, but it was very good. But this Frozen 2 I thought was actually way better. I thought it had a fantastic story. I thought Olaf was even funnier than in the first one. Olaf killed my stomach the whole way through it. He was the best in this movie. Absolutely hilarious. Now, I don't know the names of the girls that do the singing for Elsa and Anna, but I thought that was absolutely fantastic as well. Songs in it as well, because I don't think there was overly sort of like what's the word, you know how like Let It Go was very catchy and stuff, and like, you know, people knew it. I kind of feel like the ones in this movie were more just really good songs that aren't going to sort of be played over and over and over in shops and things. I hope that makes sense. And me being a singer, I write songs, I play guitar, I know a lot about music. I sort of feel that I thought these songs were better composed. Not all of them, but some of them were better composed than some of the music that was in the first one. That's just my opinion. I preferred this one. The next one I want to talk about is Rise of Skywalker. Now, I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was anything more than that. It didn't blow me away. I didn't think it was amazing. Now, if you didn't like the movie, that's fine, but please be kind in the comments below. You know, don't get too ahead of yourself. But no, I just feel I did have quite a few issues with the movie, even though overall I liked it, because I went in differently than I think some people went in. I went in thinking, okay, he had a lot to kind of deal with from the mess that was before that, which was The Last Jedi. So I think that he rounded up the trilogy best that he might have been able to, but I do think that he did have issues with the movie, to be honest. I also think that at the end that it would have been better, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Rise of Skywalker, you might want to skip a bit, but I think that it would have been better at the end if it had been Kylo Ren ending off the movie and that he had not have died, because I'm sorry, Ray love, but you ain't no Skywalker. I think that would have made more sense, and especially like The Rise of Skywalker, hello. Anyways, but I'm going to put it in there as a good one because I enjoyed it. So if you liked it, or if you didn't like it, that's good for you. We're going to move on to the next one. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Now, I have always said I have never been a big fan of Angelina Jolie. I don't know why I feel bad about it, but I don't know why. But do love Tomb Raider though. But what I will say, and there's another film she's in with Johnny Depp that I love, and the name of it has massively escaped my mind. It'll come to me. Is it The Tourist? I can't remember. Anyways, we're going to move on. But I wasn't a massive fan of the first one, Maleficent. I thought it was just good. I didn't think it was amazing or anything like that. But I wanted to go and give this one the chance because my boyfriend did want to go and see this one because he really liked the first one. So we both went and seen it. And I love the fact that Robert Lindsay was in it, but if you want to watch my spoiler review, you'll see what I had to say within that, because he is in one of my favourite, like probably my second favourite comedy show called My Family. It's a series called My Family, and he's in it, and I was really happy that he was in it. But yeah, I spoke about my disappointments in my spoiler review. The visuals were fantastic. I thought it was fantastically done story-wise, and although I'm not a big fan of Angelina Jolie, she really did fantastic in this movie. Costumes were fantastic. The way they done it was fantastic. I just kind of felt that at the end of the movie they could have minused it and chopped it by at least 20 minutes. And I actually heard some people saying that in the way. Did you not think it kind of dragged at the end? And I was thinking that watching it, to be perfectly honest. Now, the last one that I want to talk about that I absolutely loved, and this would probably be in my top 3 of this year, Alita Battle Angel. Now, I have actually seen the manga of this, and of course it was created by Yukito Koshiro, and I honestly thought that this movie was actually better than the manga. Now, that is just my personal opinion. It was literally way, way, way better. If I had to pick, I'm not saying I'm comparing, I'm just saying if someone asked me, what did you think was better, the manga or this movie, I would say this movie. What I loved about this movie was, you know, there was no nonsense in it, and you could tell that, and they weren't shoving anything at your face to make it obvious that this character is a strong character. You know, I already knew before going in to see this movie the whole story of it, you know, what it was all about and everything. I understood it all, so I obviously knew what was going to somewhat, so, you know, I got it, do you know what I mean? So I knew that she was a strong female character. So I love that the directors and producers didn't shove that in my face on the cinema screen. You know, kind of like Alien, you know, Sigourney Weaver, you know, you don't need to shove it in someone's face to know. Now, I didn't think this movie was perfect or anything, but I did think it was fantastic, and I really, really did enjoy it. So yes, that one is definitely probably my favourite my favourite 3 for this year. So if you want to watch my review of Alita, then you can again go into my movie reviews in my channel. So let's lastly get on to the bad, the ones that I just did not like and I was really saddened and disappointed by when I went to the cinema to see them. The first one is Hellboy. I think they should have just left it with Guillermo del Toro. I think it should have also stayed and left with Ron Perlman, unless they had wanted him to come back or anything like that. I love Hellboy. I love Hellboy Golden Army. I just did not like this movie. I could see where they were going, and I know they had sort of time constraints, and I think there was arguments going on set. I think even David Harbour might have had some grievances, but I don't know that for 100%. But if that is the case, that's going to cause, you know, problems, you know, with movies as well. But I just thought they were going for like a sort of more darker version, and I get that. And of course Hellboy is an adaptation from, you know, the Dark Horse comics by Mike Mignola. So I think they were trying to do something completely different. I get that. But, and I think David Harbour did a good stab at it and a good job for what he was given. But it just still didn't work for me. Even his face, I just couldn't watch it and take it seriously. It looked really weird. His chin was annoying me. I just think the makeup didn't work out. It just looked really awful to me. I think this movie was a mess from start to finish. Yes, there was some comedy in it, but it was, gosh, at times they're just so cheesy, and you're just like, oh my gosh, just stop, get away from here. The cringe and the cheese fest. I mean, we all know I like cheese on my burger when I'm watching a movie, guys. I love double cheese on my burger sometimes when I'm watching a movie, but I don't like it where it's just, oh gosh, like, just no, you know, just too overkill, and it didn't suit it. But visuals as well, I thought were pretty woeful, to be honest, and the CGI was just so horrific, to be honest. At times it was almost laughable. Now, there was a scene that I will give credit to, which was the Baba Yaga scene in the forest. I thought that was fantastically done, and had they have stuck to more natural scenes like that, I think would have been great. But again, you know, they had time constraints and things like that. But I'm just saying the CGI that was blowing up in my face was pretty cringe, to be honest. I was bored throughout this movie. I was checking the time on my phone, and when I check my time on my phone, I'm a bored, guys. I'm a bored. So no, this was not for me. But one thing I will say is that I will give my hats off to them for is they had the cojones to try something different. So fair play to them for that, and fair play to David Harbour. I think he's a fantastic actor. I love him in Stranger Things as Chief Hopper. He's a fantastic character in it. But sorry, Hellboy. heck to the freaking well no from me. Now the next one, another heck to the freaking well no, was Aladdin. Now, I don't think that they should have did a live action of this in the first place, Disney. You shouldn't be doing all this unless you can do it right, like the Jungle Book with Jon Favreau. The visuals I thought were quite bad, to be honest. The singing, people can say, oh, she was a lovely singer and all, Jasmine. But sorry, as a singer, I can say there was way too much auto-tune overkill. It was really bad. Even with Will Smith, the auto-tune was insane. And I just thought that Will Smith didn't suit being the genie. I'm sorry, he really did not. To me, this is a movie that should have just stayed where it was. It was one of them one-off, unique, brilliant Disney films that did not, classics that did not need to be made into a live action adaptation. And also, you know, when he came out of the lamp and everything, and it almost looks like it was making me feel weird. It was like just like a half of his body, and the rest was just like a CGI bit of glitter or whatever, and there was just so much glitter and sparkles being thrown in my face and all the music and yada yada. I was just like, what is going on? This is too much for me. And I just didn't like the film from start to end. I was beyond bored. The villain in it, Jafar, was the worst, one of the worst miscastings that I've seen in a long time. Now, my boyfriend watched it a few weeks ago and he thought the movie was pretty good, and he said, you know what my issue was, Julie, was the villain. And he said the CGI wasn't great, but he was like disagreeing with some stuff that I was sort of saying, but just no, I didn't like it. The next one is It Chapter 2. Now, I loved the previous movie, which was It, and I thought it was fantastic. And I just felt that my favourite parts of it, walking away from it, was the flashbacks of the young kids. I did not like the casting choices of them as they were older. I didn't think any of them were blowing my mind with their acting in any way, shape or form. In quite a lot of scenes, I thought the acting from the cast was pretty woeful, to be honest. Yeah, I don't think it worked for me. And not only that, the visuals and the CGI at times were really bad in my opinion. I did really enjoy the scenes of Pennywise. I think he is a freaking fantastic actor. Really cool scenes of him, you know, up close and everything. And although things like, you know, a lumberjack, big massive lumberjack chasing around during the daytime, during the daylight with tons of CGI, it's like you shouldn't be smacking on a pile of CGI when you're in broad daylight. Do you know where I'm coming from? And that just was kind of funny to me. It's like, this lumberjack scene is pretty awful. But yeah, and also, you know, there was the shoehorned in scene with, you know, the what seemed like the very ill-educated, you know, hillbilly hicks dudes on one side, and then on the other side you had these two men that was a gay couple, and you know, they were portrayed to be oh so lovely and handing, you know, this toy to a young child, and then of course they were going around like holding hands and everything, and they didn't just kiss once at a fairground where there is lots of young children playing, but they also kissed again, you know, afterwards. So they kissed twice. I think we got the point the first time. And also with them holding hands and everything, and them all being like, oh, you know, like pretty much, you better get used to us being in this town and we're gay and all that. They're like coming across like they were victimizing and playing the victim card, you know, crying and acting like victims. This gay couple were literally acting like victims. Whilst on the other side we had these, you know, little hillbilly hicks, you know, ill-educated. Sorry, but if, in my opinion, it came across as woke, it came across as agenda shoving, and they were just putting it in there. The scene was too long. All you needed was them both walking along holding hands. I don't have an issue with that. Don't have an issue with gay people. Literally do not have an issue with gay people. Could have been walking along holding hands. We get the point. But kissing each other at a fairground where there's extremely young kids, I felt that was unnecessary. I also felt it was unnecessary that they then had to go out of their way to keep kissing again. And then, you know, this whole like, oh, we're lovely and we're wonderful, we're charitable, we're acting like the victim cards. And then these guys over here, they're ill-educated and they're like picking on us because we're gay, we're a gay couple and we have to play the victim card, you know. I'm sorry, did not work for me. Did it add anything to the scene? No, it didn't add anything to the scene. Was it necessary? No. But is it 2019 woke card time? Yes, it was. So that is my opinion. Sorry to rant about that. Overall, it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't a good movie. It was, though, a fantastic movie. Two that I want to talk about. I actually haven't seen. So I'm not per se saying I'm putting them on the list, but what I will say is I don't feel I need to go and see them to enable me to put them on the list, because let's face it, they're both woke movies. I don't need to see them to know that they're trash heap for a fire, dumpster fire, right? We have Charlie's Angels and we have Terminator Dark Fate. Now, Charlie's Angels, I have watched a 30-minute review of a guy that I watch on YouTube, and he went into in-depth from beginning to end, exactly what happened the whole way through the movie and all about the characters. Sounded absolutely horrendous, and going even from the trailers, of course it's woke. It was Dumb and Down Men, and it was just Charlie's wokeness, quite literally. You know, it was a train wreck from the beginning. You know, having Ariana Grande singing a song, Don't Call Me Angel. They were even singing in among the song, Miley Cyrus sings, you work and make the money or something like that, and I'll write the checks, you know, and don't you be checking up on my money. That's what I took from the song, quite literally. And then Terminator Dark Fate, I didn't go and see because I got, you know, the woke alarm bells and political, you know, shoved in crap when one of the actresses from this exact movie came out and said, you know, and I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure she actually is from Mexico, and she said it's going to be extremely political, just that pretty much, that was her way of pretty much going, just letting the fans know it's pretty much about the Mexican wall. I've heard other things that happen among the movie, which sound absolutely ridiculous, being a big Terminator fan. So I am really glad I didn't go and see that train being wrecked. But yeah, that is all of them. Let me know if there's any of these that you would agree on in the category, you know, that I put them in, or if you disagree, great. I would love to hear your opinions as of why you liked or didn't like them. I don't mind, honestly. Like, put all your opinions down below and I would love to hear from you. And I wanted to wish you all a very happy new year, and I hope you have been having a really nice Christmas. And I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all the support that you have shown to me. It really means the world. So thank you so much, and until my next video, don't forget that the Force will be with you always. Bye guys.